Let the record show, I totally agree with Robert De Niro. I am one of those people that suffer from Trump derangement syndrome. I think he is a threat to democracy.
Really?
I think that he led an attempted coup in this country. You know, he said he wanted to suspend the Constitution to overthrow the results of an election. At the least, that's just not a patriotic thing to say.
I don't believe that.
He absolutely said that on Truth Social.
I will look that up.
He did.
He wanted to suspend the Constitution?
He said we should suspend the Constitution to overthrow the results of an election. He said it on Truth Social, then said he didn't say it. So I read Project 25. I'm one of those guys that's like, I don't know if he will necessarily leave. I hope he does.
Why does it take Charlamagne going on your show for you to realize nearly 2 years later that the guy you promote to retake the White House proposed to not suspend, but terminate the Constitution? His reaction was simply, I don't believe that. Well, reading what Trump wrote helps. So, with the revelation of massive and widespread fraud and deception and working closely with big tech companies, the DNC and the Democrat Party, do you throw the presidential election results of 2020 out and declare the rightful winner? Or do you have a new election? A massive fraud of this type and magnitude allows for the termination of all rules, regulations, and articles, even those found in the Constitution. Our great founders did not want and would not condone false and fraudulent elections. By the way, that post is still up to this day. So maybe Greg Gutfeld doesn't believe that because no one at Fox News cares when their guy actually calls for the termination of the Constitution. It's normally just a partisan line they use to slander political opponents.
Democrats, their compliant lapdog stenographers in the mob and the media, they're now willing to shred the Constitution.
I couldn't have imagined that we'd come to this situation where these people who are leaders of the opposing party would just tear up the Constitution.
This is the ongoing pattern and practice of trying to basically shred the Constitution.
The left has always looked down on America. They want to tear up the Constitution, overturn it, and rewrite it.
For the last 4 years, we have heard that Donald Trump is an autocrat who wants absolute authority, an egomaniacal narcissist who wants to tear up the Constitution, ignore Congress, do whatever he wants to enact his rules and policies. But in reality, he didn't do any of those things that he's been accused of.
Donald Trump said this on Truth Social. I want to put it up. Talking about this. Do you throw out the presidential election results of 2020 and declare the rightful winner, or do you have a new election, making himself? A massive fraud of this type and magnitude allows for the termination of all rules, regulations, and articles, even those found in the Constitution. It's gotten a lot of media criticism on that. You can make up your own mind. Next on Media Buzz.
It's projection on full display. Fascists don't come into power on accident. It's literally a complete 180 from reality. They don't care about how transparent their lies are because Trump doesn't care. After people called it out, he immediately lied as if no one could read. The fake news is actually trying to convince the American people that I said I wanted to terminate the Constitution. This is simply more disinformation and lies, just like Russia, 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 and all of their other hoaxes and scams. What I said was that when there is massive and widespread fraud and deception, as has been irrefutably proven in the 2020 presidential election, steps must be immediately taken to right the wrong. Only fools would disagree with that and accept stolen elections. MAGA. What steps? Oh, you mean steps like the termination of rules, regulations, and articles, even those found in the Constitution? And how about that irrefutably proven fraud? For some reason, he didn't post about the 60 court cases where judges that weren't only the Latino ones that he doesn't trust, but ones that were appointed by him and other Republicans, looked at his evidence and threw them out. Other cases he brought were withdrawn by his own team before a court had the chance to laugh at him. But in order to give his fascist enabler something to pay attention to while ignoring his disdain for the Constitution, he kept posting lies on that same day. Simply put, if an election is irrefutably fraudulent, it should go to the rightful winner, or, at a minimum, be redone. Where open and blatant fraud is involved, there should be no time limit for change. We want people who legitimately won the election to lead our country, not people who had to cheat in order to win. Tucker Carlson heard what Trump said and knew not to confirm it.
I have an opinion on whether or not this information, had it been known, would have affected the result of the election. And if you think it would have changed the result of the election, do you think that President Trump was onto something when he suggested that maybe we have to suspend all the rules and regulations, including the Constitution, because it was such a colossal fraud?
Well, one thing I learned, Geraldo, in the midterms 2 weeks ago is I'm really not good at predicting political outcomes at all. So I'm never doing that again, either looking ahead or retrospectively. I'm never going to tell you what might have happened or what may happen ever again because I'm bad at it.
He never answered if Trump was onto something for calling for the end of the Constitution. But at least a couple of Republicans that worked for Donald Trump discovered their backbone and admitted that your eyes weren't lying to you. MAGA likes to call them rhinos.
Even worse, in my view, than January 6th was at one point in the past year, he said the Constitution should be suspended so that he could be deemed the winner of the 2020 election. That is so far out of bounds that I think almost alone that statement is disqualifying. You don't suspend the Constitution for anybody. It's our biggest protection.
He said that it was okay to suspend the Constitution if you think the election was stolen from you. And when he was asked about that by Bret Baier, he stood behind it. Now, I want to remind you what the oath of office is for President of the United States. One of the things you swear to do with your hand on a Bible is to preserve, protect, and defend the Constitution of the United States. Not suspend, defend. Anybody, in my opinion, who says that it's okay to suspend the Constitution is disqualified from being president of the United States.
So instead of the rest of the party discarding their self-proclaimed traitor back in 2022, they've coddled and supported his biggest lies while ignoring his dangerous promises all the way to his criminal trial. And people like Charlamagne and Robert De Niro are said to have Trump derangement syndrome.
So for everyone that's talking to me about the Constitution, Marjorie, the Constitution, I'm sorry, it feels pretty much like we're post-Constitution because it feels like communism in America today when President Trump is being indicted and having to show up and be arraigned and arrested and processed in a court where he has no chance of having a fair trial. And is a jury not of his peers. I'm sorry, that's not going to be a jury of his peers. That's a jury made up of people that hate him for political reasons. So I'm just going to tell you exactly how I see it and exactly how it feels. We have a specific duty in Congress, and I think we should be doing it. And I'm very upset that we're not right now. So just wanted to make a video to share exactly what I'm hearing other people say to me, exactly what I'm hearing from people here at home, exactly what I'm hearing from people across the country is, you know, we do have a Constitution that we love and we protect, and I swore an oath to uphold, but right now it feels like that Constitution has been put through the paper shredder and that we're basically post-Constitution.
Trump might not even be convicted of his crimes, but Marge is already claiming that the judicial system is part of the shredding of the Constitution. I think she must have forgotten that their right-hand man, Steve Bannon, has been bragging about their pre-2020 election plans that fly in the face of that Constitution.
He's going to take advantage of that. That's our strategy. He's going to declare himself a winner. So when you wake up Wednesday morning, it's going to be a firestorm. We're going to have Antifa crazy, the media crazy, the courts are crazy, and Trump's going to be sitting there mocking, tweeting, you lose. I'm the winner. I'm the king. And he'll be all over. He'll be going, where's Hunter? Is Hunter on a crack pipe? I mean, no, he'll be, because then it doesn't matter. Remember, here's the thing. After then, Trump never has to go to a voter again. He's going to fire Ray, the FBI director. He's going to say, how about that? Because he's never going to, he's done his last election. Oh, he's going to be off the chain. He's going to be crazy. Also, if Trump is losing by 10 or 11 o'clock at night, it's going to be even crazier. No, because he's going to sit right there and say they stole it.
Charlamagne's Trump derangement syndrome about Trump's plans to never leave office sounds a lot like what Steve Bannon was detailing there. So one more time for the people that refuse to listen to what Trump world has been openly and explicitly telling us. They don't care about the country, the Constitution, American elections, citizens' rights, or the rule of law. They care about fascism.
The DOJ is completely corrupt from top to bottom. It's going to have to be purged. It's going to have to be restructured. They're going to have to get rid of tons of billets over there and lots of personnel on the afternoon of January 20th, 2025. They understand this. And the FBI is the American Gestapo. As an institution, they are not worthy of going forward. That's going to have to totally be restructured. I've been strongly for getting rid of the FBI, starting over again with some federal law enforcement to the degree you need it.